22:52 local time, deep inside Iranian airspace. 6 Israeli FNA-35I Adirs moved fast through the night sky at 30,000 feet, clean, silent, exactly where they were supposed to be. No radar emissions, no warning, nothing unusual. On paper, this was routine. A precision strike by Israel against Iran's missile production network, targeting facilities that could sustain weeks of attacks on Israeli cities. Inside the cockpit, the lead pilot followed the plan down to the second. Speed, altitude, timing, everything exactly on schedule. Then, the tone cut through the silence. X-band fire control lit up the display. A second later, the system confirmed it. Lock. They were wrong. An Iranian Tor M1 battery had gone from silent to lethal in under a minute, positioned exactly where Israel did not expect it, protecting assets Tehran could not afford to lose. Distance, 36 kilometers. The pilot ran the math instantly, not thinking, just calculating. The Tor's missile could cover 12 kilometers in under 15 seconds. His weapons release required closing to within 15 kilometers. That left 3 kilometers. 3 kilometers between success and being erased from the sky over enemy territory. He broke hard left, pulling the jet into a violent turn as chaff and flares scattered behind him. Altitude dropped fast, too fast, driving him straight toward a second layer of Iranian defenses waiting below. Too high, the Tor kills him. Too low, something else does. And tonight, more than 150 precision weapons were already inbound across Iran. All of it depending on this moment holding together. If this Israeli strike package fails here, the entire operation begins to collapse before it even reaches its target. Do they press forward or turn back and survive? The Tor was never supposed to be the problem. In every briefing, it was classified as a short-range system, dangerous but manageable. A last line of defense, something you dealt with only after breaking the bigger threats. But Iran had learned. Over the past week, long-range radar sites had been destroyed the moment they turned on. Every emission became a target. Every signal invited a strike. Anti-radiation missiles found them within minutes, so the system adapted. Iran went quiet. Radars stayed dark. Batteries kept moving. Nothing transmitted unless it had to. Everything waited. Then, at the exact moment Israeli aircraft crossed into the engagement zone, the network came alive. The Tor did not search. It already knew where to look. Somewhere far behind the front line, another system had done the work first. A VHF early warning radar, operating on wavelengths that did not behave the way modern fire control radars did. It could not guide a missile, but it could see patterns, bearing, direction, formation size, and once it had that picture, it passed the data forward. Now, the Tor operator was not hunting. He was waiting. That changed everything. Because stealth does not mean invisible. It means harder to track and only for a few seconds. In modern air defense, a few seconds is enough. Below 15,000 feet, the situation became even worse. Iran had layered its defenses with man-pads, shoulder-fired missiles positioned around key facilities. Cheap, mobile, extremely dangerous. They did not need radar. They did not need warning. They only needed heat. And a pilot force too low, too fast, with nowhere left to go. That was exactly where the Tor had just pushed him. And now, across Iran, new signals began to appear. Short bursts, 3 seconds at a time, then silence. Mobile SAM systems waking up, not tracking yet, just listening. Iran already knew something was in the air tonight. The only question left was simple. Did they know where it was going? The Israeli pilot did not get a second to think. The moment the Tor lost lock, he pulled the jet back up, climbing hard and trading speed for altitude, forcing the aircraft above the worst of Iran's low-altitude defenses. 14,000 feet, 16, 18. Back into the narrow band where survival was still possible. But the mission had not changed. Israel was not flying this deep into Iran just to turn around. He rolled inverted and dropped the nose toward the target zone. Parchin, one of Iran's most critical military-industrial complexes, tied directly to missile production at scale. The targeting system confirmed it instantly. Heat signatures were stable and intense, clearly different from the facilities Israel had destroyed before. This was something more valuable. He committed. The bomb bay doors opened for 8 seconds, and that was all it took. In that brief window, the F-35 lost its advantage. A jet designed to stay hidden became visible enough for any Iranian radar operator paying attention. Inside the tour vehicle, the operator saw it immediately. A clean return appeared on the scope, sharp and unmistakably real, where nothing had existed seconds earlier. He reacted without hesitation, initiating track and building a firing solution as fast as the system would allow. 4 seconds were needed. 3 passed. Then 2. By the time the system was ready, the signal was already fading. The Israeli jet had closed the bay doors and disappeared back into the noise, leaving behind only a ghost track and a falling weapon. The GB U-31 hit seconds later. 2,000 pounds of hardened steel punched through the roof before detonating deep inside the structure. The effect was immediate and decisive. The casting hall collapsed inward, not damaged or disabled, but erased. Inside, partially built missile stages were destroyed in place. Industrial molds cracked, structural supports failed, and months of work disappeared in seconds. And that was only the first hit. 90 seconds later, the rest of the Israeli strike package arrived. F-15 aircraft followed through, releasing precision weapons across the entire Parchin complex. This time, Israel did not target a single facility. It targeted the entire system. Storage sites, fuel compounds, and assembly lines were hit in sequence. Explosions moved across the complex in a controlled chain, turning an active production network into fire and collapsing steel. Compared to earlier strikes, the damage was significantly higher. What could once be rebuilt in months now faced years of recovery. But Iran was not finished. As the Israeli aircraft turned west, heading back towards safer airspace, a new signal appeared on the spectrum. It was a different frequency, lower and broader, and the system identified it immediately. Gadir radar. Iran's long-range early warning network had been active the entire time. It did not guide missiles, but it did not need to. At those wavelengths, stealth did not disappear. It blurred just enough to reveal movement, direction, and formation. And now Iran was no longer guessing. Across the country, Iranian mobile SAM units began to activate in short, controlled bursts. 3 seconds of emission, then silence, constantly moving and repositioning to avoid detection. This time, they were not searching for the F-35s. They were waiting for something larger. Because deeper inside Iranian airspace, the second Israeli strike wave was already committed. Heavier aircraft, larger payloads, and far less stealth protecting them. And now, Iran knew they were coming. By the time the Israeli aircraft cleared Iranian airspace, the damage had already been done. Satellite imagery in the hours that followed showed entire sections of the Parchin complex reduced to rubble. What had once been a functioning production network was now a broken chain of collapsed structures, fires, and silent machinery. Initial assessments indicated that a significant portion of Iran's missile production capability had been set back. Not by months, but by years. Facilities that could once be repaired quickly were now gone entirely, including critical casting infrastructure that could not simply be replaced or rebuilt under constant surveillance. But the outcome was not as simple as victory or defeat. Iran's air defense network had not collapsed. It had adapted. Systems like the Gadir radar and mobile SAM units proved that even advanced stealth aircraft could no longer operate with complete invisibility. The battlefield had shifted from a contest of individual platforms to a contest of systems, where detection, timing, and coordination mattered more than any single piece of technology. For Israel, the strike achieved its objective, but at a cost. Every mission like this revealed more about how these systems interact, and each time, the margin for error became smaller. Because the real lesson here is not about one strike, it is about what comes next. If stealth can be seen, even partially, and if defenses can adapt this quickly, then the balance between offense and defense is changing in real time. And in that kind of environment, the next mission will always be harder than the last. If you found this breakdown useful, consider liking the video and subscribing, because understanding how these systems evolve is the only way to keep up with what modern warfare is becoming. By sunrise, the smoke over Parchin had begun to fade, but the impact of the strike was only starting to settle in. What Israel had targeted was not just a facility, but a system that kept missiles flowing from factory floor to launch site. And for now, that system had been broken, but not destroyed entirely. Because even after losing critical infrastructure, Iran's defenses had proven something just as important. They could see more than expected. They could react faster than before. And most importantly, they could learn. That changes the equation. This was not a one-sided demonstration of power. It was a glimpse into a new kind of battlefield, where stealth is no longer absolute, and where survival depends on how quickly each side can adapt under pressure. On one side, Israel showed that precision and coordination could reach deeper than ever before. On the other, Iran showed that layered defense and smart use of radar could still challenge even the most advanced aircraft in the world. And that is what makes this moment different, because the next time this happens, both sides will be better prepared. The defenses will be tighter, the strikes will be faster, and the margin for error will be even smaller. So the question is no longer who won this exchange, it is what happens when both sides come back stronger. Share your thoughts below. I want to know how you see this playing out, because in modern warfare, understanding the pattern is often more important than the outcome itself.